Hi guys, in this video, we're going to learn about the history, components, structures, or syntaxes with sample programs, styles, advantages and disadvantages of the Pascal programming language compared to the other programming languages. The history of Pascal programming language. Pascal is a procedural and high-level programming language designed in 1968 and published in 1970 by Nicolas Worth, and named in the honor of the French mathematician and philosopher Blaise Pascal. He based it on the block-structured style of the Algol programming language. There were two original goals for Pascal. According to the Pascal standard, these objectives were to 1. Make teaching language available as a systematic discipline based on fundamental concepts clearly and naturally reflected in language, and 2. To define a language whose implementations could be both reliable and efficient on the computer then available. These are the implementations of Pascal programming language. And these are the programming environment and dialects of the Pascal programming language.
There are three components of Pascal program. The first one is program and variable specification section. Second is the subordinate procedure declarations. And the last part is the main program executable code. Structure of Pascal program. A Pascal program basically consists of the following parts: program name, uses command, type declarations, constant declarations, variable declarations, function declarations, procedure declarations, main program block, statements and expressions within each block, and comments. Every Pascal program generally has a heading statement, a declaration, and an execution part strictly in that order.
This is the Lazarus IDE, and it automatically starts up the Windows type application ready for programming. However, we are going to use the program part of the Lazarus, so I will go to File, New, I will select the program, click OK. Now we are ready to start programming using the command line interface. What we have here is the source editor. The source editor is where you would put your code. If the source editor happens to be closed, you can always bring it back by going to View, Source Editor. Automatically, Lazarus has placed in some code for us, and we are not going to make any modification to this code that Lazarus put in towards the bottom. You find begin and end. This is where we're going to put our code for our first program. I'll start by writing to the screen. Write line, then open parenthesis, a single quote, and I tell the computer to print. This is the first program. Another single quote, close parenthesis, and semicolon. Anything within the single quotes as a string, as you see here, and the computer will write it to the screen. Verbatim whatever is within the single quotes. So I will go ahead and run. The project is successfully built and execution is stopped immediately. So what has happened here is the computer wrote to this line to the screen and immediately closed to the window. So what I have to do is to tell the computer to stop so that we can see what's going on. I'll use the command read line. The computer all pause until an enter key has been processed. I'll go ahead and run. Alright, this is the first program. Press enter. The program now stops. what I would like to do is place a couple of bright lines, so I can make a few spaces, and I'll have bright line. Now I will go ahead and run. The computer is paused waiting to the enter to press. Alright, I'm going to make a little modification to the program. I am going to write another line. Right line. This is another line. Okay, I'll go ahead and run. Now we have two lines of text at the top. If I were to make modifications to the program, instead of using right line, I'll use the command write. What will happen is the command write will simple write. Verbatim whatever is within the single quote, and I will not make a new line. When I go ahead and run this, we find that the two lines are actually smashed together because I told the computer not to make a new line. I'll go ahead and change it back. Runs one more. Everything looks good. Okay, I'll go ahead and save this. Program, and then I'll go and build it. Go to File, go to Save. I'll place on the desktop. New folder. You can put your folder wherever you wish. I call this new folder for this free Pascal programming tutorial 1.
Next is the style of Pascal language. So, this is the style of Pascal language. Pascal is an imperative and particular programming language designed by Nicholas Wirth as a small, efficient language intended to encourage good programming practices using structured programming and the data structuring. It is named in honor of the French mathematician, philosopher, and physicist Blaise Pascal. These are the advantages of programming in Pascal. Pascal is very clean language. Pascal is a very nice language. Your programs will be more readable and maintainable than for example in C++. And you don't need to give up the power. The Pascal language is as powerful as you want it. Next is no make files. Unlike most programming languages, Pascal does not need make files. You can save huge amounts of time. The compiler just figure out itself which files need to be recompiled. Next, Pascal compilers are fast with a big F and Free Pascal is no exception. Yes, you no longer need to grow roots while compiling your programs. Just hit the compile key and it's done, even for large programs. Next, each unit has its own identifiers. In Pascal, you never need to worry about polluting the namespace, like in C, where an identifier need to be unique across the entire program. Next, high-speed, low memory use. Being a language that is compiled into fast machine code by a modern compiler, Free Pascal has been able to make Pascal one of the fastest languages there are. Integrated Development Environment. Free Pascal comes with an IDE which work on several platforms, in which you can write, compile, and debug your programs. You will save huge amounts of time using the IDE, the best programming friend you have. Next is great integration with assembler. Do you think Pascal is for wimps who need to learn programming? Wrong. It's excellent for high-tech programming, and for the supreme nerds among you we have the integrated assemblers. You can easily mix assembler code and Pascal code in the language you wish. Prefer Intel styled assembler? No problem. If it's needed, Free Pascal will convert into the ATT for you. Do you want to convert your program into a source file for NASM? No problem. All the ATT assembler in your source file is automatically converted. Next, object-oriented programming. And if you do the serious programming, you are of course very interested in object-oriented programming. Use the Turbo Pascal and Object Pascal ways of OOP according to your taste. Pascal language is also smart linking. Free Pascal Smart Linker leaves out any variable or code that you do not use. That makes small programs small with a big S while they are still statically linked. Avoid DDL. Next is distribution independence. As a result of this, software compiled by the Linux version of Free Pascal runs on any Linux distribution, making it much easier to make your software support multiple Linux distributions. Pascal is available for a lot of platforms on several architectures. Free Pascal is available for more platforms than most other Pascal compilers and allows easy cross-compiling. Just change the target in the IDE and compile, and there is work going on for even more platforms and processors. And last, Pascal language is compatible. Have existing code? Free Pascal is more compatible with it than any other Pascal compiler. We are almost completely compatible with Turbo Pascal and quite well compatible with Delphi source code. If you have code in other language like C++ or assembler, just use.
Here are the disadvantages of Pascal. Number 1. Slower than C++ or ASM. Second, not nearly as much support. Third, most compilers are 16-bit, not 32-bit. Fourth, object-oriented programming is not natively supported, but it is in most compilers.